How's it going, IO? Today we're going to talk about the Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner custody battle getting vicious, Taylor Swift spotted with Travis Kelce, and Usher's Super Bowl halftime news. Okay, so the custody battle between Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner is getting vicious. Joe admitted that he has possession of the children's passports and refuses to return them to Sophie or send the kids to England. He's now hit back with a statement of his own where he insists that he did not abduct the kids. His lawyer released a statement saying after multiple conversations with Sophie, Joe initiated divorce proceedings in Florida, as Florida is the appropriate jurisdiction for the case. Sophie was aware that Joe was going to file for divorce. The Florida court has already entered an order that restricts both parents from relocating the children. Sophie was served with this order on September 6, 2023, more than 2 weeks ago. They went on to say Joe and Sophie had a cordial meeting this past Sunday in New York. When Sophie came to New York with the kids, they have been with her since that meeting. Joe's impression of the meeting was that they had reached an understanding that they would work together towards an amicable co-parenting setup. Apparently, less than 24 hours after that co-parenting setup was agreed upon, Sophie advised that she wanted to take the children permanently to the UK. After that, she demanded that Joe hand over the children's passports so that she could take them out of the country immediately. But he is now seeking shared parenting with the kids so that they are raised by both their mother and their father. He says he is okay with the kids being raised in both the US and the UK, but he claims that they have spent the vast majority of their lives in the US. So obviously it would be a bit easier if they were to stay there. The end of the statement is very critical of Sophie and her actions in this divorce. It says, "This is an unfortunate legal disagreement about a marriage that is sadly ending. When language like abduction is used, it is misleading at best and a serious misuse of the legal system at worst. The children were not abducted. After being in Joe's care for the past 3 months at the agreement of both parties, the children are currently with their mother." Sophie is making this claim only to move the divorce proceedings to the UK and to remove the children from the US permanently. Joe has already disavowed any and all statements purportedly made on his behalf that were disparaging of Sophie. They were made without his approval and are not consistent with his views. His wish is that Sophie reconsider her harsh legal position and move forward in a more constructive and private manner. His only concern is the well-being of his children. But Sophie is not backing down, and so far most people are overwhelmingly on her side. In court documents, she admitted that she was blindsided by his decision to file for divorce. She said the breakdown of their marriage happened very suddenly after an argument that they had on August 15. In fact, it was so unexpected that she said she learned about their split from the media at the same time as the rest of the world, and she's now demanding that their 2 children be returned to England. She claims that Joe agreed to declare England their forever home in conversations that took place over Christmas last year, while they were preparing for the year ahead. She said that after they sold their Miami home, they were in the process of buying a home in the English countryside, at which point Sophie was busy filming a TV series while Joe had started touring with the Jonas brothers. They eventually split up in late August, and when the 2 of them met up again to discuss the issue of custody, at this point Sophie says that she once again brought up the plan to move to England. But Joe no longer agreed to it. In fact, he had a complete change of heart, and since he filed for divorce in Florida, that basically ensured that the kids cannot leave the state while the proceedings are ongoing. So he's pretty much put a stop to her plans. But Sophie has really come through with the receipts. In the latest court document, she detailed all the places that the kids have been staying over the past year, and judging from the list, before they relocated to England, they didn't stay in one place for more than 4 weeks. This also means that Sophie gave birth to their second child and spent her first year postpartum constantly moving around from one rental home to another rental home, which sounds like a recipe for disaster. Under a photo of the list, one person wrote, "This whole thing makes me angry. I can't believe he had the goal to file in Florida without telling her and then lie about it. And he absolutely lied about that because she would have filed in the UK first if she had known. Keeping those babies away from their home and their mum is nasty." So people are picking up on what is actually happening, and the more we find out about their marriage, the worse it seems to get. Luckily, Sophie has amazing friends for support like Taylor Swift. Just hours after the news broke that she had filed a lawsuit, she was seen hanging out with Taylor. The 2 of them stepped out for a girls' night in New York City last week. They were linking arms, walking through the streets as they grabbed dinner at Via Carota. And just a few days ago, they were seen leaving a New York hotel with a famous rooftop restaurant and bar. Speaking of Taylor Swift, she's been in the news a whole lot lately, and it looks like things are really heating up between her and Travis Kelce. The 2 of them were spotted together for the first time at Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday after the Kansas City Chiefs won their game against the Chicago Bears. Taylor was seen leaving the locker room with Travis after the game. While he was on the field, she was in his suite watching the game alongside his mom, Donna Kelce. She seemed really enthusiastic enthusiastic while she was cheering for the Chiefs, chest bumping with one of her friends. At one point, she even appeared to shout, "Let's effing go," so she clearly is a big supporter. Taylor wore a Chiefs windbreaker over a white tank top, and she accessorized with red lipstick and matching red nail polish. When she left the venue with him, he was seen wearing a matching white and blue jacket and pants, which perfectly matches the color scheme of her upcoming 1989 album. They were then photographed driving off together in a convertible. Taylor's presence at the NFL game wasn't entirely unexpected. Travis made it clear that she'd been invited to cheer him on. In a recent interview, he said, "I told her, you know, I've seen you rock the stage in Arrowhead Stadium. You might have come to see me rock the stage in Arrowhead and see which one is a little more lit." So we'll see what happens in the near future. Thankfully, she saw the Chiefs on their A game because the team won 41-10, and quarterback Patrick Mahomes said the pressure was on to make sure that Travis looked good with his special guest in the stadium. After the game, he was asked, "Do you realize how much pressure there was on you from the Swifties to get Travis Kelce a touchdown with Taylor in the house tonight?" And in response, he said, "I felt a little bit of pressure, so I knew I had to get it to Trav. I think he wanted to get in the end zone as much as all Swifties wanted him to." Before connecting with Taylor, Travis dated Kayla Nicole on and off for several years. For her part, we know that she's been single since May, when Us Weekly confirmed that she had ended her brief fling with Maddie Healy. She also split from her boyfriend of 6 years, Joe Orwin, back in April. While nothing is confirmed with Travis yet, his brother, Philadelphia Eagles star Jason Kelce, has claimed that the dating rumors are in fact true. He says he thinks things are going great, even though he tries not to get too involved in his younger brother's love life. He said, "I don't really know a lot about what's happening in Travis's love life, you know, his business is his business, and I try to stay out of that world." Taylor was rumored to be dating him after it was reported earlier this month that they had quietly been hanging out, especially when she visited him in New York a few weeks ago. Apparently, he first tried to link up with her when the Eras tour came to Kansas City. He revealed on his New Heights podcast with Jason that he attempted to give her a friendship bracelet with his phone number on it. He said, "So I was a little butthurt that I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her. She doesn't really meet anybody, or at least she didn't want to meet me, so I took it personal." Jason jokingly guessed that Taylor refused to meet with him because of her known fondness for the Eagles. He said, "She probably hasn't gotten over the Super Bowl yet. She's a big Eagles fan, so maybe she just made something up and just didn't want to talk to you." But either way, it's very difficult to pin down Taylor's love life right now. While fans might like the idea of her dating again, it's very easy for them to lose their mind with a few rumors floating around. And that's part of the reason Taylor chose not to confirm her relationship with Maddie Healy. Even if it was just a casual thing and they were both having a bit of fun, it somehow turned into a major controversy. Swifties did not support that relationship at all, and they made it very known, despite the fact that nothing was ever out in the open. And judging from all that drama, it's easy to see why Taylor chooses to keep her love life private. And last but not least, Usher has been announced as the headliner of the 2024 Super Bowl halftime show. The event takes place on Sunday, February 11th at the Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. When talking about the show, Usher said that it's been on his bucket list for a long time. He did an interview with Zane Lowe on Apple Music One and said, "I've been asked many times, what are the benchmarks or what are the things that matter the most to you? Obviously performing, but being able to perform on that stage because so many amazing performers have graced it and did an amazing job. Of course, the obsession of that starts, but the excitement of this moment and being able to savor this moment. You remember the first time you heard your record on the radio? This is like what that feels like for me." Usher also told Lowe that on the same day he headlines the Super Bowl, he'll release a new album called Coming Home. He called the album a love letter once again to the legacy of his career. He said he's been coming home in a lot of different ways. The choice of his music and reconnection to some of the people that he's worked with from his past. And he always wanted to work with writers that he's actually made hit #1 records with. In a sense, he says he's coming home because he's in that comfortable space. Usher had some pretty big shoes to fill following Rihanna's 2023 halftime show, which was her return to live performing after 5 years. She performed a career-spanning set of hit singles on floating platforms. And on top of all of that, she also revealed that she was pregnant. So really, she just made it all the more incredible. The other legendary performers to have graced the stage include Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent, and Kendrick Lamar. So there's no doubt it's one of the events that everyone wants to do. And it'll be interesting to see what Usher brings to the show in terms of his music. So let me know if you plan to watch it and how you feel about the fact that he'll be performing. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.